So, Tim and Michael. It's like a light turnout. I mean, I think. Good evening, and in accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board designed for that purpose, and notice was transmitted to the official newspapers provided by resolution adopted January 6, 2024. Meeting notice has also been continually posted on the Borough website. May I have a roll call?
Yes, Mayor. Council President Morgan is absent but excused. Councilwoman Phillips.
Here.
Councilman Otteson.
Here.
Councilwoman Russo is absent but excused. Councilman Pagan.
Here.
Councilwoman Howard.
Here.
And Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing just for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. We'll begin with our correction. We will begin with public comment on agenda items only. That's public comment on the agenda items only. If you'd like to make a comment, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Not seeing any public comment, we'll close the public comment portion and we'll move right into our caucus work session. And first up tonight, we have David Bross joining us he's the Vice President of the Jewish Community Relations Council. Mr. Bross.
Good evening once again. My name is David Bross, and I want to thank Mayor Howe and all the members of the Borough Council for inviting me to address you tonight. I am actually pinch-hitting for David Spector, who chairs our JCRC's Government Relations Council Committee. He himself is a former Democratic councilman in your neighbor of Belmar. He apologizes for not being able to be here tonight due to a conflict. Thanks also to Kelly Santasuso for the kind assistance. I'm going to read a statement to you primarily, and if there's time, entertain any questions you might have about why I'm here. So I'm a 46-year resident of Camden County. I currently live in Sherry Hill. I'm also a longtime member and current vice president of the board of directors of the Jewish Community Relations Council, known as the JCRC, and I'm authorized to speak on behalf of the JCRC. As many of you know, the JCRC focuses on, among other things, combating hate in all its forms. In just a few weeks, our JCRC, through the Rav Gu and the Holocaust Museum and Education Center will once again hold our annual March of Remembrance in Sherry Hill. At that March of Remembrance, hundreds, possibly thousands of local residents, Jewish and non-Jewish, will march and will rally to show our collective commitment against hate and anti-Semitism. Perhaps some of you will join us that day. I'm here tonight, however, to urge you, the Haddon Heights Borough Council, to approve a resolution to adopt the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of anti-Semitism. We call it the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. In a nutshell, this action will put in place a critical metric for the township and its citizens to measure what acts constitute all these forms of hatred. A simple definition of anti-Semitism is a hostility to or prejudice against the Jewish people. It sounds simple, but Jew hatred is anything but. Anti-Semitism is an ever-morphing form of hatred. It is a set of conspiracy theories built on negative stereotypes, perceptions, and unsubstantiated claims about Jews. You've probably heard some. Quote unquote, the Holocaust is a myth. Quote unquote, the Jews orchestrated 9/11. Or the Jews control the media and the banks. It is not okay to say this. This is not free speech. This is anti-Semitism. I'm sure that you are aware incidents of anti-Semitism are on the rise, globally and locally. Here in the U.S., where Jews constitute perhaps 2% of the population, hate crimes against Jews make up over 65% of religiously motivated hate crimes. The Anti-Defamation League reports that there are 10 anti-Semitic incidents posted daily, and that 10 was written more than a year ago. Clearly, it's more now. To my own horror, even with the vigilance of the state of New Jersey, with our county, Camden County, we have not escaped the scourge. In Sherry Hill, a high school student was denied admittance to her school's Middle East club because she wanted to represent Israel. She was told that that's too controversial. Any glance at a map will show you that Israel is in the Middle East, yet bringing an Israel perspective to a Middle East club was denied. She was further humiliated by the school's administration, which attempted to make her feel that she was causing unnecessary drama and that the incident did not really happen. That is not free speech, that is anti-Semitism. A student from Camden Catholic High School sent a text message to a Jewish neighbor using a Nazi reference of Jewish annihilation, an image of the Zyklon B gas, the gas that was used at Auschwitz. I learned that from my own mother-in-law, who was imprisoned. This is not free speech, this is anti-Semitism. I'm ashamed to say that my own alma mater, Rutgers, has been a hotbed of anti-Semitism for many years, but particularly after October 7th, things got even worse. We are very fortunate that the Camden County Board of Commissioners unanimously passed the IHRA definition in September 2023, 1 year ago. You may also know that the Gloucester County Board of Commissioners has also passed the IHRA resolution. This was just this past July. To date, 25 of 27 EU member states have passed it, 36 US states have passed it, and New Jersey will be next, I assure you. And roughly 90 cities and counties have adopted the IHRA definition, including big cities like Los Angeles and Washington, but also small towns like your neighbor Audubon and 18 other New Jersey municipalities and county. Anyway, we're here in the hope that that number will grow. We also want to make you aware, if you don't already know, that the U.S. House of Representatives has passed the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, which will codify in law the Department of Education use of the IHRA definition. And by the way, you already have, I believe, exactly what that definition is. It lays out specific examples of anti-Semitism, so I'm not going to spend time repeating it. It's somewhat lengthy. I also handed out, Kelly handed out to you, a Q&A fact sheet from the ADL, which answers some of the common questions about what the IRA definition is and some of the questions that people have about it. The whole idea of the definition is to have a standard by which to measure what constitutes an anti-Semitic action, which we have not had until now. The IRA definition is that metric, and it should be universally adopted. This non-legally, and that's important, it's not a legally binding definition, it's a guideline, but it offers guidelines and examples of what is and what is not an anti-Semitic action. It can be used by law enforcement, it can be used by educators. There is no downside to adopting a resolution, adopting the definition. In short, Jew hatred has no home in Haddon Heights or anywhere else in the state. We thank you for your leadership and your vision, and we hope that you will adopt this resolution. You have a sample from your neighbor Audubon, which I suggest would be a very good one to use. There are others out there, bless you. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to take them at this time.
Council, any questions or thoughts? Mr. Bros?
No, thank you very much.
Thanks for
We appreciate it.
Yep. No, again, I think
Thank
it's,
you very much for listening. Thank you for your time and consideration. Thanks again.
thank you so much. Before we move on, I will say, Council, so we circulated a draft resolution, and if everyone is prepared to tonight, we'll introduce this as Resolution 2024-193 to adopt the IRA definition.
Thank you, Mayor.
Of course. No, and we're thrilled. I mean, we're thrilled to have you here tonight, representing the Jewish community at large. But, you know, it was early in my tenure with Haddon Heights as mayor. Members of the Jewish community here, right here in Haddon Heights, reached out to us asking for a menorah lighting. You know, and this is something I was just such a simple gesture, and I was amazed at how many people from our community and the surrounding communities came out to enjoy that evening. And it's just, again, something we can do for our community. Though it's a smaller Jewish community here in Haddon Heights, it's nonetheless really, really important to our community. And again, thank you so much for representing them as well as the at-large Jewish community.
Thank you.
Moving next into the general election discussion. Kel?
So Mayor, I just wanted, obviously, pretty much everyone is aware of the general election. Tuesday, November 5th. The deadline to register to vote is October 15th. Just, basically mentioning that all polling locations within the borough will be contacted, and we're doing everything we need to make sure that we have a successful election here in Haddon Heights.
Wonderful. Anything else? Comments on that, Council? Obviously, the most important thing I posted the other day for my mayor's social media account is we do have a little bit larger of a ballot for Haddon Heights. We have a referendum question on the back, as well as school board elections are also on the back if you get a mail-in ballot. But that'll also be the case, I think, with the new Camden County voting, right? They're paper ballots that they scan in the machine. So you'll have to flip that ballot over and vote, which is always seems to be a greater
Don't
challenge.
forget to flip
Right.
it.
Be a greater challenge than you think it would be, but nonetheless. So just remind people. And next we have League of Municipalities, which is Tuesday, November 19th to the 21st down in Atlantic City. Kel, anything else?
Yeah, and
on
I
that?
just wanted to throw it out there to council again that, if anybody is interested in attending, Mayor, I know we've registered you.
Thank you. Saw that. Yep.
If anyone else is interested in attending, please let us know so that we can register you.
Gonna make it this year.
And it's, so it's always the same week. And I think do we have the date? think we changed the meeting date, right, in
Monday.
November? So the meeting, we changed to that Monday, since, the mayor may be there, I'll certainly be there. It's our education conference, so, okay?
Perfect.
Mhm.
Yep,
Yes.
November. Yep. All right, next. That's it for caucus session. Next, we have the two approval of the minutes, which we're going to actually table those because we had a little issue circulating the minutes in time for the meeting. So they'll be tabled until our next meeting. And we'll now commence with the Borough Engineers Report. Greg?
Road construction project we have going on, we have a program this time in April. Contracts have been signed, construction meeting is this Thursday, so we hope we get started next week. Second is St. Martin's project, the DOT funded project, that pre-con is next Thursday, so again, hopefully a week or two after that, construction should be getting started. And lastly, the improvements at the Lake Street pump station, they'll be wrapping up by the end of this week. That project will be done. Also, at the end of this week, payment app should be in for next meeting, so you guys will see that.
Okay, wonderful. Council, any questions for Craig?
We submitted everything to the Borough CFO for PO. Not quite sure where that's at, but we'll follow up with them tomorrow.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Playground.
The LRG hot water. Yeah, sent everything to Mike. a couple weeks back.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
And Mayor, if I may, I'm sorry.
Yep, go ahead.
I wanted to mention this earlier. So many of you may have noticed we had RFPs out for submission for today.
Yep.
One of them was for grounds management program, for an irrigation system management program, and for lawn care services for all of our fields and our borough buildings, et cetera. So I did circulate that to everybody. Everybody
Perfect.
has a copy of them. We do have successful bidders in the lowest. So Mike will be reaching out. I think most of you are aware it's going to be a cost share, even including the high school as well, with the sporting organizations, with the borough, and with the high school. So he's going to get all of those agreements in place, and we're hoping to award these at the October 15th meeting.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Following up on Kelly, if I may,
Mhm.
I spoke to Mike about that today.
Mhm.
We're doing a shared service agreement between the four organizations, including us being one of them in the high school and the athletic association, with respect to an allocation of responsibility for the cost incurred in these bids. Even though we're the lead agency, there's going to be contributions given by the others that Mike will be working out. I'm working with him on that, and I'll make sure I send it to the school for their comments. And we hope to have that on at the next meeting as well.
Wonderful. Sorry, bear with me here. Just tying into that engineer's report, I know you're not directly working on Kings Highway, but the county's Kings Highway project is obviously underway. They broke ground last week, I think Tuesday, I think. Well, Monday they were stripping lines, but by Tuesday they actually broke using what would be the proper terminology for that device?
Road grader.
It was did more than great. It was, yeah, it did, but it pulverizer.
Pulverizer.
I think that's like they were complaining about the house shaking, but it changed the timeline from that being a project that would span 4 weeks of pulverizing that road down to about 3 days. I think it was done, all said and done. Again, the challenge is obviously with the vibrations. Either way, with a very robust road in the sense of being solid slabs of concrete, one way or another, there was going to be shaking and banging, whether it was jackhammers. And so for it to be done in 3 days, was probably it's the lesser of two evils, I would say. But happy to see that project underway. It's still going to be about a year timeline. And it's going to be good for the community. So it's wonderful. Moving into unfinished business, we have public hearing and final adoption of ordinance 2024-1554, ordinance of the Borough of Haddon Heights, County of Camden, in the state of New Jersey, amending, supplementing, and replacing Chapter 397 entitled Stormwater Management, Article 3, Section 379-1 through 397-22 entitled Stormwater Management of the Land Development Ordinance of the Code of the Borough of Haddon Heights.
Mayor, I think that first section after Article 3 is 397-1 to 397-22.
What did I say?
It says 379,
Oh, yeah.
right? It should be 397.
Can we just verify? Yeah, I was going to say check that.
Look at that catch.
Yes.
Verify? Great job. She just said yes.
It says 397.
An excellent
there.
proofread right there.
Good proofreader.
That's what we pay.
Regina told me. before the meeting.
I knew that was going to come back to me.
Can I have a motion to open the public hearing portion of ordinance 2024-1554?
So moved?
Motion by Councilman Pagan. May I have a second?
Phillips, second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Phillips. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Thank you. The public hearing portion, for ordinance 2024-1554 is now open. If you'd like to make a comment, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Not seeing any public comment. May I have a motion to close the public comment portion?
So moved?
Motion by Councilman Pagan. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Herron. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Thank you. Next, may I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-1554?
Addison motion.
Motion by Councilman Otteson,
Second?
seconded by Councilman Pagan. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Mayor, Councilwoman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Otteson,
Yes.
Councilman Pagan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harron.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have public hearing and final adoption of ordinance 2024-1555, an ordinance of the Borough of Haddon Heights, County of Camden, adopting a redevelopment plan for certain properties within the Borough of Haddon Heights that has been designated an area in need of redevelopment, 322 and 324 White Horse Pike. May I have a motion to open the public hearing portion of this
So moved?
ordinance? Thank you. Motion by Councilman Pagan. May I have a second?
Phillips, second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Phillips. All those in favor?
Aye.
Stumbling. Thank you. Any opposed or abstained? All right, public hearing portion for ordinance 2024-1555 is now open. If you'd like to make a comment, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Not seeing any public comment. May I have a motion to close the public comment portion of ordinance 2024-1555?
So moved?
Motion by Councilman Pagan. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Phillips. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Thank you. Next, may I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-1555, an ordinance of the Borough of Haddon Heights, County of Camden, adopting a redevelopment plan for certain properties within the Borough of Haddon Heights that have been designated an area of need of redevelopment.
So moved?
Motion by Councilman Pagan. May I have a second?
Addison second.
Seconded by Councilman Otteson. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Mayor, Councilwoman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Otteson,
Yes.
Councilman Pagan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harron.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have new business and an introduction of ordinance 2024-1556, a bond ordinance authorizing the completion of various capital improvements to the Borough of Haddon Heights, County of Camden, New Jersey, appropriating the sum of $1,068,700, therefore authorizing the issuance of general obligation bond or bond anticipation notes, the Borough of Haddon Heights, County of Camden, New Jersey, in the aggregate principal amount of up to $1,015,265, making certain determinations and covenants and authorizing certain related actions in connection with the foregoing. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 2024-1556, please?
So moved?
Motion by Councilman Pagan. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Harron. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Councilwoman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Otteson,
Yes.
Councilman Pagan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harron.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public hearing and final adoption of ordinance 2024-1556 is scheduled for Tuesday, October 15th, 2024, at approximately 7 p.m. in the municipal building located at 625 Station Ave, Haddon Heights, New Jersey. Next, we have Resolution 2024-182, a resolution reappointing Julie Uhays to the position of local registrar for a 3-year term pursuant to NJSA 26:8-11-13. Resolutions 2024-183, resolution amending Resolution 2024-31, resolution concerning appointments. Resolution 2024-184, resolution authorizing a refund of a sewer fee payment. Resolution 2024-185, resolution authorizing a partial refund of a community center rental fee. Resolution 2024-186, resolution to close escrow accounts to authorize refund of planning board escrow balance, O'Connell. Resolution 2024-187, resolution to close escrow accounts to authorize a refund of planning board escrow balance, Leanman. Resolution 2024-188, a resolution to close escrow accounts and authorize refund of planning board escrow balance, Kenny. Resolution 2024-189, a resolution setting curfew and trick-or-treating hours for Halloween. Resolution 2024-190, a resolution authorizing an award of contract to Deer Carcass Removal Services, LLC, for the provisions of deer carcass removal services on an as-needed basis under the Camden County Cooperative Pricing System ID 57, CCCPS bid A-35, 2022 third-year option. We are tabling Resolution 2024-191, resolution to cancel a receivable and appropriations balance in the grant fund. And we are continuing with Resolution 2024-192, a resolution authorizing payment of bills and claims for the first half of September. And finally, as we agreed upon earlier, Resolution 2024-193, a resolution recognizing the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of anti-Semitism. May I have a motion to approve those resolutions, please?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Pagan.
Second.
May I have a second? Thank you. Councilwoman Phillips. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Mayor. Councilwoman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Otteson,
Yes.
Councilman Pagan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Herring.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now open it up for public comment. That's public comment on anything at all. Please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Do you guys have public comment at all? Yeah, now would be the time. Yep, yeah, sorry. That's all right. That's.
Next thing is adjournment.
You know what? It's funny. I tell people all the time, if you watch, the best way to learn what you're going to have to do at a meeting is now watch us on YouTube, and that gives you like a precursor to what the meetings look like. So,
Torture.
yeah.
I wouldn't use this as the model of
No.
perfection.
Mhm.
Amy Rose, a member of 1021 Prospect Ridge, also a member of Heights Rose.
Scott Sikowski, 614 B Station Avenue, also a member of Heights Rose.
Wonderful.
So we are here to ask for the borough's assistance and guidance as it pertains to the broken down fountain in the middle of our town.
Mhm.
That is broken 1, 2, 3 times a year.
Right.
Various organizations and residents and businesses reach out to us all the time to fix it, clean it, maintain it, what have you. After new members came in and we cleaned it, and other businesses have paid to have it repaired, it came to our attention that it is in fact a borough property, and that it is insured through the borough. I came down yesterday and had a conversation with Kelly about this, who also spoke with Mike. We are asking that the borough kind of take lead on keeping it maintained with, some future plans so that when it's dirty, when it's broken down, et cetera, it can be repaired. It's not within our wheelhouse to continually, as a volunteer organization, fund the repair of it or to even clean it. It's just not what we're,
Yeah.
charged to do. It's our understanding that in the past, when it was donated many, many years ago, DPW was taking care of it. They maintained it, they cleaned it. I know lots changed with the merger with Audubon and Haddon Heights. And so things have changed, but at the same time, it is the focal point of our town. It is never in full operational use, whether that's due to vandalism or just not being maintained by, a professional, which is not who we are. So we're asking for your assistance in this concern. Did you guys want to say anything? I know Scott has taken he's a new volunteer in town here, and he's taken it upon himself with some other members to clean it up and sort of winterize it. The center of it is broken, right?
Yeah.
The entire tower.
Right, so looks like the parts that were, I guess, salvaged before are completely destroyed. So
Right.
you're looking at multiple tiers. They have to be level for it to be,
Right.
appealing to look at. So as it stands now, if you put it together, it's going to look like a taped together mess.
Yep.
So I've been getting multiple quotes for pretty much getting a whole new fountain.
Mhm.
And so there's options for that, but looking at it, there's no repairing what's currently there. It would have to be fully
Right.
replaced.
We had this spin the beginning of the year when HIP wanted to do a repair replacement. And we had a discussion about turning it potentially into a planter and eliminating the fountain. And then there was a pushback. Nobody wanted to do it. So then our discussion was that HIP was considering helping to fund a new fountain, which they wanted to do and try different pumps. And then, it's been all over the place.
Yeah, I've talked to them and they've been interested, but they are not interested in maintaining it.
Yeah, I think the borough DPW in the shared service agreement in our discussion said that they would open and close it, but they wouldn't maintain it during the year either.
So the challenge we face obviously during the year is that it's the trees over Ted, where the fountain was put in. Those trees are quite extensive, and the leaf fall that goes into the fountain clogs the pump shorts out.
Yeah.
And then this is like a reoccurring mess that we deal with. The fountain probably is like, and again, I'm not an expert on it by no means, but from hearing from several of the DPWs, they'll go out, they'll swap the pump out, they'll make a repair. But in reality, it's just this never-ending game that they can't, like, it almost needs a person there full time.
all the
It's
ones
not
that
an
have those
appropriate
screens.
fountain for that location,
Right.
is the bottom line.
Probably needed to be like either something more robust
Yeah.
or in a
Or not there.
yeah,
They
clear
have ones that
location.
have a better screening system to keep the stuff out.
Yeah, so I'm long-term under Weinstein Supply in Pensacola, we sell
Yeah.
plumbing HVAC equipment. And
Right.
I contacted one of our reps on what the appropriate pump would be for a public setting like that. Looking what's in there
Yeah.
currently, it's a mag drive pump, it's made like an aquarium.
Right.
So what we- for
That's great.
something like
Make sure
that-
that's on the record. Just so that-
And we appreciate the donation.
Yeah.
It's not that we're critical of
I know
that.
The current one's been rebuilt because it's been knocked over and they just kind of pasted it back together.
Yeah, so the pump situation, just looking at that's the one they keep replacing it with, it's completely wrong and it's just gonna die every time.
Yeah,
Okay.
They've tried different ones
Any
over
kind of
the years.
soap that gets in there, you need something with more torque that opens and it's also screened.
Yeah.
But I think it can be rebuilt just with that in mind of how it's been broken in the past. I think it could be, maintained rather easily, so.
If it's rebuilt properly, you're saying? Okay.
Well, it also sounds like you're saying that the trees are an issue.
Yeah.
Or, they overhang. So, what can we do about that?
I'm not going to propose that we cut the tree down.
Well,
I'm not
it's,
saying we need to
Yeah.
cut it down, but can it be trimmed back?
I think it's pretty hard to do that to get it away from there.
it sounds like if
right
the
there.
pump is correct, though, we wouldn't have to move. the
I think you
trees.
still have to, two things happen. The water evaporates. So you have to add water and you really do have to probably every 2 weeks or so, you have to go in there and clean. Somebody's got to do it.
Mhm.
I
Howard?
didn't say anything.
I was not aware that, so are you saying that you don't feel that the fountain there as it exists currently is operation? Did you say you thought it could be rebuilt or?
That was just brought up, like, what parts are there currently and can it just be rebuilt?
No, it's pretty bad.
I think the tub
So-
is okay, but you need the.
Correct.
top parts.
The basin, yeah, the main basin is fine. The
Yeah.
fountain parts, the last time it was stood up, looked atrocious. It looked like something when I broke a figurine in my mom's house and we tried to patch it together. Like, that's how bad it looked like. when
I
was
mean, the
there.
other option.
Yeah,
is
because
have
it's been-
planters
it's
there,
been
but
vandalized
Yeah, it's
on
100%.
what people
occasions.
want.
So,
But I guess what I was getting at is if we are going to keep that or whatever, I mean, I did speak to Mike. Mike certainly feels that this is something that the borough would be able to maintain, whether it's going to be a new fountain or not. I mean, that sounds like it's, I'm not sure. But I think that overall, I mean, Tracy, you and I spoke yesterday, we do think that we'd be able, to absorb that cost. It should not be a problem. But again, I'm not sure what we would be maintaining.
So we
if
can
it's-
speak to Mike. I mean, we can rebridge this, there's been a couple discussions throughout the year on this. Like I said, the pitch that we kind of had originally settled on back in the spring was see how it ran once it was opened. And then if it was a failure, there was a pitch from, I think I said, it was like, what, HIP at the time said,
Yeah,
just turn it into a large planter.
well, we
you know,
said,
and
we
eliminate
all agreed on a planter, and then nobody wanted that. They wanted to keep the fountain, so we reversed back.
What's the
Yeah,
concern?
We've discussed that,
Yeah.
you know, at the gardening group, right? We've discussed that in our group. And it's just our opinion, and take it or leave it. We don't love that idea. I don't think the people that dedicated the fountain would love that idea, and I don't think the town in general would love that idea. It is problematic that it's continually vandalized. That's one issue. Tree, you know, overhang is a slight issue. The right height, comes rather, is definitely an issue. Having someone maintain it on a regular basis who's professional and knows what they're doing is also important.
Yeah.
We're certainly happy to, you know, we have crews down there, not in the winter months, but in the summer months, we have crews out every single week. Now, we have a very robust volunteer base that's downtown cleaning up and weeding. We have no problem taking out minor things and filling it with water. We can dedicate ourselves.
So
to
maybe if
that.
there is that, if there, we can create a partnership. I mean, the challenge obviously is like, from it, you think about it, and this is not because DPW consolidated. I mean, like at the end of the day, like DPW is just to put somebody there literally once a week has
Oh,
to
I'm not
leave it.
saying
No, yeah,
We're
every
all
operation.
culminating
But I think you're hitting the nail on the head with the census. If we can create collaboration here, right? And we have somebody who can consult with DPW and say, these are the types of pumps you need. If we have the ability as a borough to invest in it, and then there's somebody there to do just daily, like that's the other catch. I mean, the amount of leaf fall, if you put any amount of leaf fall that's significant enough to clog that strainer, even if you have a strainer, it's not going to get sucked in, but it's going to run the pump dry, which means it overheats, and then you still end up with the same situation, the pump fried. You know, what I mean, it's so I think there's like a lot of little moving parts here that we would have to put a few people in the room and have agreed upon collaboration that's going to work. Because
Definitely.
yeah.
And again, our feeling is that the downtown, that's the center of our town. But
Mhm.
when people drive through, they don't know who owns it or who's responsible for it.
Yep.
And it all comes back to the borough. They look at the borough as a whole and they think it's, you know, I don't know, it's your fault, but
Yeah.
I mean, you know it, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's our town, and so whether the land is owned by whom, doesn't matter. It does offer a sanctuary for families to go and sit. It's
Mhm.
unfortunate that the kids are ridiculous. You know, how we solve that problem, I don't know.
Don't have
We
one.
need to camera it too.
Was there a camera there at one time, Chief?
Right.
So there's a camera there, again, and you know that Heights Neighbors is trying to put cameras downtown for the police station to monitor, because that's the only real fair thing, because we shouldn't have private business owners monitoring the cameras and picking and choosing who they target. I just don't think that's a plan. for the borough.
Juveniles on camera.
Right,
That's where.
It's just like,
Where our issue comes from.
right. Yeah, I just wanted to hear your perspective.
Very tough to- I mean, the fountain is a great idea, but maybe not have the middle part of it and actually just have water coming up in the middle instead of something that can be kicked over all the time. You know, if you want to keep the fountain going that way, but I mean, there's nothing, it's very tough to stop.
Yeah, I was told that the old ones were made out of concrete and the new ones have rebar in them, so it could possibly be that the new ones are stronger. And this is just my observation, ever since those bushes were trimmed around the gazebo, there's been a lot less vandalism to the gazebo. I remember last summer, every week I would go there and there would be new elms sticking up. You know, maybe the bushes around the fountain can be trimmed down lower to see.
I think though,
Do you let
It's
your
a
younger
small
daughter
thing,
hang out
but
there? She
it
could be a
does make a
culprit.
difference when it comes to.
probably my
being
youngest. I think, yeah, the only thing I'd have to look is, I don't even know if there are bushes. That's the only catch. It's
Yeah,
all,
it's Conrail's.
they are, they're Conrails, okay.
That's the other complicating,
All the
yeah.
property.
So it's like, that's
do
the
whatever
issue.
we
That's
want
not
with
really
the same
borough,
thing.
all of that, anything that sits in that is all technically Conrail's property. It's their easement. Actually, the building, I mean, the two structures there and that the two people lease, the Rail Club and it's an art studio, they're Conrail owned. And
So
Conrail,
how is it that the fountain came to exist?
It predates- it was a donation from a business owner that owned
Yeah.
on
The
Station.
family of a business owner.
It used to have a men's shop.
So there, my sense of it long before I worked at the borough, is that Haddon Heights Neighbors was involved with it, but it was because they, I think, were involved with the purchase of it. The donation came from the family of the business, longtime business owner on Station Avenue. and then they were involved in either working with the borough. I have never seen any type of agreement.
Right.
And probably with Conrail, because there are also benches there that are dedicated, that are not Conrail.
Just to clarify, like Barrington tried to put a gazebo in like the same space that our gazebo sits, and they were told no by Conrail. They said, I mean, they were raising money and everything. Conrail's not the easiest people to deal with. I mean, it took us, I think, 20 years to get the bridge painted at the overpass. So the challenge is there is no real very clear record. I'm sure it was probably people knew each other. There was an agreement. Somebody said, yep, sure, go ahead, put it there. I don't have to maintain it. It'll be on you. There's no written. The issue we have is that there's no record of like any of this at the end of the day.
How does that weigh into moving forward to possibly replacements that are updated if we decide?
I think it's kind of like one of those things. It's like if we're like leaving the basin and everything, and we're just continuing to do repairs on the inside, we're not necessarily dealing with Conrail. But I think if we were to go in and have to do engineering and do work, that would be.
I think we just put a new,
that creates a big
keep the
red flag.
basin, put a new fountain base in it.
Yeah. Is that possible?
Put the new fountain base in it, and then have a plan moving forward on who's gonna do what when, and everybody knows it.
Yeah, because I think that there are high schools members that we would come up with some kind of, I don't want to commit people that are.
Yeah, right.
Obviously, but, we could come up with some kind of. a
And
solution.
DPW said they would open and close it, so we got that base covered.
Yeah, the
So it's just
winterizing,
the
right?
in-between and have one that actually works.
So maybe you can give us some proposals, because you said you were looking at okay, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, so they came in through an email. I'd like to get an official quote, where it's, but looking at the.
Can we introduce you? How about we introduce you to Mike Mansdorf, our CFO, and who would be able to help coordinate that with you, and then give you some guidance and kind of give you a ballpark. And then if you want to liaison that a little bit, we could probably.
Yeah, I spoke to him yesterday, and he said that he was gonna reach out to, his landscaping
Yep.
background.
Mhm.
People, just to see,
He's pretty good with that.
And I did tell him that that you were getting some quotes and such, so he was interested in seeing those. So,
Yeah, and just to give you like an overview of how the fountain is now closed. It's covered.
Right,
in
so-
tarp from Amy. The group went out there one day, discussed it, by it, and hand cleaned it out. God knows, they didn't even know what was under there. It could have been glass, could have been anything. And just, had enough of looking at the muck and everything and cleaned it all out, which was great. We weren't happy at the end of the day that they did that just because anybody could have been injured doing it. They didn't have the, they're not trained to do it, we don't have the right equipment, whatever. I just don't want to see, I'd like to see a maintenance company come out a couple times a year and make sure it's running properly and do a thorough cleaning, and we can do, bi-weekly sort of thing.
And also to address, you were talking about leads and being a maintenance problem. Maybe we close it up and wrap it up for a longer period during the year that people happen to require.
Mhm.
I mean, I think there are things we can consider that might make this project not as much of a headache for people in general.
Yeah, you wait till spring season's over.
I think everything. I mean, we're welcome to the idea. Like I said, it's been one of those things. Everybody agrees that the fountain is a beloved, area here in the community. The challenge has just been like we've thrown different, like people have put ideas in play. HIP, which is always gets involved in a lot of downtown activities, was a big advocate for it, and even they kind of like at one point kind of just in essence threw in the towel on this. So I appreciate the passion, and on top of that, I mean, your group makes Station Ave look beautiful.
Yeah,
And
we
I see you out there all the
appreciate you
time.
so much.
And
It really
the
does.
planners continue to be, something that we want to continue to invest in. So we appreciate your information and your thoughts on this. And what I'd like to do, like I said, is we'll connect you with Mike Mansdorf, our CFO. You can work with him to put the recommendations in motion, and then we'll have a bigger collaboration. We'll probably invite you to the table to just figure out between DPW, Heights Grows, and anybody else that has to be at the table, Mike, and a few others to say, all right, what's going to be the plan? How are we going to make this work? And what's it look like?
That's all we really wanted was to join it together and look at it more closely and see if there was something worth saving, which we believe it is.
Okay.
And coming up with it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
thank you.
Guys,
Thank
anything
you
else?
very much.
Anything?
Appreciate
Good?
it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we have other projects we need to get to, so.
Thank you.
No, it looks great. Listen, it's one of the cool, I think it's one of the greatest things about our community is like, it literally, you mobilize a ton of volunteers that come out and from, I see little kids out there to retirees. So it's awesome.
That's one of the nicest things. This weekend, we'll be doing a townwide cleanup, and you'll see a lot of kids from high school.
That's wonderful. Yep. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? All right, not seeing any. May I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Councilman Pagan, a second by Councilman Odison. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? All right, thank you, guys.
Did you see Matt Longacre's email? He sent me an email. He wants to get in touch with somebody from Block 80, which I think